I think one word I would use to describe my Grampy is definitely outgoing. He's always reaching out to people, talking to everyone. Whenever he's in the room, everyone knows who he is. Whenever my friends are around, they all know who he is. He loves to have a good conversation with anyone new that he meets, and I think that we are all super excited to see him receive this amazing award.
One word I would use to describe my grandfather, Tom Burgoyne, is likable.
If I were to describe my Grampy in one word, it would be selfless, because he's always caring for other people before himself.
My Grampy always encourages me to do my best, whether it is academically or athletically in lacrosse and volleyball. He loves and supports me no matter what.
Hello from St. George, Utah. I just wanted to say congratulations, Gramp, and I love and miss you and can't wait to see you.
Hey Dad, just wanted to say hello and congratulations on this incredible award that you're receiving. It's very well deserved. I'm just sorry I couldn't be there. You know, I've been busy with work, especially these last couple months, and I'm actually recording this from my hotel room in Spokane, Washington. But luckily you have my beautiful daughter representing my family there with you and her roommate Braden. And I just wanted to take a little time to share some of the things that I remember through the years. If I had to pick one word to describe you, that would be relentless. And so all of you sitting there tonight know, whether it's from trying to sell you a reverse raffle ticket to, you know, anything from having his grandchildren give him a call after every sporting event, my dad is relentless. So I think that's the best word to describe him, because he doesn't quit and he just keeps on going. But that's all I wanted to say. I don't want to take up too much more time, but I love you and I miss you, and congratulations.
The first word that pops into my mind when I think about my dad, Tom Burgoyne, is energy, because he's got a whole lot of it.
A word that reminds me of my dad and is meaningful to me is the word attitude. And it all started when he drove me every day to high school, to Wheeling Central Catholic, and dropped me off. And he had a little sticker on the dashboard on the passenger side where I was sitting that said the word attitude on it. And he would point to it before I got out of the car and remind me to make sure I had a good and positive attitude going in to start the day. And it reminds me now even to try to do my best to do that every day now. So thanks, Dad. I love you.
Hi, this is Joe, and this is my father-in-law, Tom Burgoyne. I first met Tom in Lancaster, Mass. in 1998. This picture was taken in 1994, and he's holding an Uzi with a silencer. So the first time I met Tom was out in Lancaster, Mass. It was late November, it was cold, it was dark. I think it might even have been snowing out, and he said, let's go for a walk out in the woods. But beforehand, he handed me an orange vest and he said, take this, you may need it. I knew back then that he had a great sense of humor, and over the years I learned that not only did he have a great sense of humor, but he cares about people, he loves people, and he would do anything for anyone, and he's always your biggest fan, and that's the biggest thing that I'll take from Tom is he always believes in you. He believes in you more than you believe in yourself. So Tom, congratulations, and thank you for all you do for your community and this country.
I met him through his wife because we were lifelong friends. And like I said before, I thought he was a hunk. Oh, he's genuine, he's loving, he's kind, he takes care of everybody, anybody that needs help, he's there. Always has been and always will be, and he won't stop.
Congratulations, Tom, on this great honor. What comes to mind when I think of Tom Burgoyne is actually two words. One would be friendly. He makes the friendly city a friendly city, because when we first moved to the town, Tom was there as a special agent. He was there, and so was Kathy to support us. And the other thing I think of Tom Burgoyne are signs. When we when we raided the Evergreen Health Spa, there was a sign in the window that I didn't know until I turned around. It said, closed by order of Sheriff Tom Burgoyne. And then one of my favorite signs, free ride in the sheriff's car if you shoplift from this store by order of Sheriff Tom Burgoyne. And so, again, congratulations, Tom. And it's been an honor to know such an honored person. Thank you.
Hi, Tom. I wanted to congratulate you on this prestigious award. When I think of Tom Burgoyne, 3 words come to mind. Let's go park. Oh no, that's let's go Knights. Anyway, Tom, I want to wish you the best of luck. And one thing that I remember the most, one of my fondest memories, was that whenever we had a raid going on and we had to call the press was already there. And not sure who tipped them off. Burgoyne. Good luck, Tom.
Hey, Tom. Sheriff, special agent, friend. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor. I was asked to come up with a couple of words that come to mind when I think of you, and I'd have to say that they are case names for those matters that we investigated and prosecuted together. Great memories working with you. There's also another word that is something that comes to mind as my fondest recollection of you, and that is the word spoons. I had never seen anybody play spoons before, and you, sir, are a master. So congratulations again, and take care.
Tom is the best at what he does, which is serving people. He is a servant of the people. And he's done that through his work with the FBI and through the Sheriff's Department as a Little League coach, is just involved with his church and the community. He's a community servant and always has been, and that's part of his DNA, it's part of his soul, and that's why I love the guy.
Anybody I ever had to say, live the life and walk the walk, you know, Tom Burgoyne's the guy. He's just so committed to doing what's right and correct and helping people. And he was up here the other day with peaches. He was out helping some elderly lady that couldn't get all the peaches off of the farm to sell them, and he's out trying to sell the peaches for this lady to help because he felt bad because her mom had passed away and she didn't have anybody to help with the peach trees and things like that. And just the things that he does, it's just amazing that he has that energy. But not only the energy, but the selflessness, the ability to give of himself and not expect anything. Tom, I'm sure, is totally embarrassed by this whole thing, probably, and I'm sure he'll have fun listening to it, but Tom's not doing this for Tom. Tom does this for other people.
I was fortunate to grow up in a family that cared, and I learned those caring virtues from my parents. And I always wanted to be in law enforcement from a young age, and I was fortunate enough to be able to attain those goals that I set for myself after college. And I just think more people need to think about other people.
One example of a time that my dad exhibited the characteristics of the Good Samaritan occurred when he was still with the FBI, and I was perhaps in high school at the time. It was Thanksgiving, and my dad was in the middle of a federal trial, and there were government witnesses who had been brought in from out of town and had been placed in, they were staying at a hotel in Wheeling for the trial until it was time for them to testify. And one young woman who I guess you could best describe as, someone who lived a tough life, an unsavory character, you might say, was going to be spending Thanksgiving alone by herself in that hotel room without family nearby. And my dad invited her to come have Thanksgiving dinner with us at our house. We had never met her. She didn't know us, but she came, and we shared Thanksgiving with her.
Tom's house was always open to me and other agents, and his wife at the time just would fix us anything we wanted to eat, would talk to us like we were long-lost sons. And Tom, he'd open the door and say, come on in.
He's always been a very fair and compassionate guy. He's always had the interest of others in the community before himself.
that he's always been, he's a good man. I mean, if you think about who Tom is, he's a fair man, he's a good man, he's a compassionate man, he's a family man. He's woven into the community in so many directions.
Well, the first time I met Mr. Burgoyne was up in the Federal Building. And I was mailing something and he introduced himself to me. And I introduced myself to him. And I knew Tom knew the things that I was involved in the marijuana business because I had been arrested previously a couple of times, actually 3 times. So then the next time I met Mr. Burgoyne was when he came out to my home on Wheeling Creek with the police to arrest me. And I was indicted in West Palm Beach for a stolen offshore power boat that was stolen from Wheeling, West Virginia and transported to the Bahamas and South Florida. And Tom came out to my property and he arrested me, but he was very professional, very polite. And the other thing that I noticed about Mr. Burgoyne was when my mother, he was always very polite with her. He told her not to worry. So, I have great respect for him. Not just as a law enforcement guy. Of course, we were on other sides of the Rio Grande River. I was on this side, and he was on that side. But like I say, he was very professional, very polite, and just a decent person.
Coming from Boston to Wheeling, West Virginia would be a big cultural change. Tom fit in right away. I don't know if it was his mindset, his good-heartedness, or his just concern for youth. Being that he was in law enforcement, he saw a lot of kids, for whatever reason, go down the wrong path. I think he wanted to make a change and help kids that either have gone down the wrong path or could possibly go that direction. I think he wanted to help them and become their friend, but also someone that they could look up to. And he did that quite well.
I think Tom's been named the Good Samaritan because of his work with youth and with people in general. He had the sweat program where they cut grass every Saturday. And he was always so happy when he saw one of those kids become successful in life.
I can recall many, many instances during board meetings when Tom would be kind of like a cheerleader for the advancement of kids and their mental health and physical growth. Tom's he's been a real boost to Wheeling and its youth.
I didn't have the best childhood, but I also didn't have the worst. My mother, I didn't know her. She was heavily into drugs, and my father, he was never around because he was always working. I had over 10 siblings that were heavily into drugs and alcohol, prostitution, what have you. So just growing up with that, I just didn't have a lot to work with as far as role models. So him inadvertently kind of coming to my doorstep, knocking on the door, just catalyzed a series of events that changed my whole life. So basically working through the SWEAT program and then subsequently through the West Virginia Sheriff's Leadership Academy. I went there for 4 years. It's basically a 6-day, they don't want to say it like this, but kind of like a boot camp in which it teaches you different skills as far as responsibility, leadership, work ethic, and kind of negating high-risk behaviors as far as alcohol, smoking, and violence. So those are the type of things, those are the type of skill sets that kind of saved me in so many ways because they taught me the know-how to navigate life. So for instance, I graduated high school. A lot of my siblings, which I have over 10, did not have the opportunity to do. I was the first in my family to graduate with my undergrad in college and then getting my master's in college, specifically specialized in pediatrics as a physician assistant. So he afforded me the opportunity to give back to the community, specifically to the pediatric population, and try to emulate what he did for me to those through healthcare. So not only that, he's also taught me some skills just by even watching him, how he interacts with everyone, his wife, the community. and how to be a better friend, a better father, a better husband, and I'm forever grateful. So he made my whole life.
I got put in drug court with Judge Sims. I forget when. It was almost 2 years ago. And I remember I was having a really hard time trying to find a job. And I got talking to my uncle and my mother and a few other people about like who could I reach out to that might be able to at least get my foot in the door. And they were like, Tom definitely could do that for you, but he wants to talk to you first. Because the last interaction I had with him, I was under the influence of a lot of drugs at the time being, and I thought he was there to arrest me. I was always told if Tom told me to jump, I say how high, because that man, if he thinks you can do it and put some effort into it, you better put as much effort as he's putting into it back. So I told my mom about it, and she was like, what was it? I'm like, he asked me to come speak to high school students about drug addiction. It helped me more, I feel like, than it was helping the individuals. But the more that I think about it, I was at least showing my experience that it doesn't matter where you came from. Addiction can definitely find you. It doesn't matter if you're poor, rich, black or white, gay, straight. Addiction's gonna find you if it needs to. And it did, it took over. And Tom gave me that opportunity to express to other people in the community that that's not who I am anymore, and that I just needed a little bit of help. And I did, I got that through drug court. And like, that's really hard to say, that the people that I thought was trying to send me away for a long, long time was actually the people that actually saved my life.
He has this way of providing his own wisdom gracefully and kindly to where you feel like you've known him forever.
Mr. Burgoyne, you were among the first to welcome me when I joined the school community of Central Catholic High School, along with your wife, Kathy. Your service, commitment, dedication, love, spirit, and loyalty have been a blessing to our school community. But even more than that, I've gotten to know you as someone who is truly dedicated to serving those who are marginalized in our community and living out the lessons of the Good Samaritan parable, to give generously in service of others and to love others as we love ourselves. And so I say thank you for your example to our students. Thank you for your example to our community. You are certainly most deserving of this honor, sir.
He's a caring person, and that's what YSS is all about, and that's what he's about. So he's definitely deserving of this award, and I'm awful proud of him and proud to say that I'm a friend of his and want to wish him the best in all his life ahead. So congratulations, Tom. We're proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing, buddy. You're pretty good at it.
The message I have for Tom is to continue to do the work that he's been doing. I know, like all of us, you know, we get a little more mature and experienced, but Tom is still very active with the kids and very active in community affairs. And Tom was able to, I think, marriage the law enforcement activities, both when he was an FBI agent, when he was a sheriff, with doing things in the community and trying to make things better from that standpoint.
I'd like to congratulate him not only on being a good Samaritan, but being good law enforcement. He was an upstanding man to serve in the FBI and the Sheriff's Department, and the qualities that he had carried over to the men and the women that worked for him.
Well, he knows how I feel, and he's taught me a lot. He's a great guy. In the 30-some years that I've known him, during the FBI years, during my lawn care landscape business working with him, our private investigative business, he never fails to teach me something. Whether he knows it or not, I'm learning. And that's probably one of his greatest attributes, is his ability to teach people, knowing he's doing it, and even and not knowing that he's doing it. You learn from him just by watching.
Yeah, Tom, congratulations
on this honor, which is really well deserved. You've been a gem. You've been a great value to the community, to not just Wheeling, to West Virginia and the country as your service as an FBI agent, and more importantly, the quiet volunteer things that you have always done. Congratulations from Becky and me. We love you.
Mr. Burgoyne, from all of CCHS, thank you for all that you have done for us in our school. Congratulations on this well-deserving award.
Grampy, it's your son-in-law. Just making this video to congratulate you on being named the Good Samaritan of the Year by Youth Services for 2021. This is a very deserving award. You have done so much for the community of Wheeling for a long, long time. And I congratulate you on this award and thank you for all the good things you've done for Wheeling, for the state of West Virginia, and for our good country. Thank you. Take care.
He arrested me once when I was a young man, but I was in a whole different space. No, that's not true. I have known Tom for decades. He was a board member many, many years ago and has always been a supporter of our mission. What I've admired about him all these years is the compassion he has had for a whole lot of people. And the willingness to respond to a whole lot of people. I know that from, personal experience, but I've heard stories all over this community about his helpfulness. This might not be in a Good Samaritan's job description, but we should give him credit for even starting this whole tribute. Back in 2008, it was the decision of the board that we wanted to honor Sister Constance Dodd as our first Good Samaritan. If you know anything about Sister Constance Dodd, her being Irish, she wasn't going to take orders from any man. But somehow Tom pulled it off. I remember us having a kind of a public announcement of that, and he walked into the building with Sister Constance arm in arm. I'm not sure if his gun was holstered or not, but he helped start this whole thing. So it's nice that we circle back and now honor him.
We remember a story about a young man that was walking down a path. Excuse me. He's walking down this path, this young man was, and he fell in a hole that was there for some reason. Wasn't far enough down that it was going to kill him, but he couldn't get out. And the walls was all wet and slippery, and he couldn't get up out of this hole. And he was stuck down there. And along come this guy, and he recognized him as a doctor. He'll help me. Doc, help me out of here. The walls are too slippery. I can't climb out. It's too high. Doctor just shook his head, pulled out a piece of paper, wrote something on the paper, and dropped it in. It floated down to the guy, and he got the paper. It was a prescription. What's that going to do me any good? So he stays down there until somebody else comes along. Oh man, here comes another guy. He'll probably help me. That's a lawyer. I'm sure he'll help me. Help get me out of this hole. It's too slippery. I can't get out. It's too high. Lawyer talked to him for a moment, pulled out a piece of paper, wrote something on it, dropped it down to him. It was a bill for talking to him. So he's still down the hole, and he sits there, and here come another guy. And he yells up at him. He said, I need some help. I'm in this hole. It's too slippery to get out. It's too high. I need help. I got all kind of problems. And he looked for a moment, and the guy jumped in the hole. What are you doing? Now we're both down here. Yeah, we are. He said, I know what you're going through. I know your problems. He said, I've been here before. I know the way out. Tom's the kind of guy that would jump in the hole.